Pecha Kucha 74, Ken Masters and Akuma. So like I've alluded to in the past, whenever I give myself something concrete to do, I typically don't do it, and that's what happened this week. I was supposed to do the Smiley Show and some noir pages, and I just ended up doing anything I could to not do them, and ended up doing some super unfinished stuff. So I was talking about painting last week, and I've been, messing around a bit with the chalk brush combined with the blurring and the smudge tools, the blend tools. I can get some nice results, but it's maybe more, well, it's definitely more work than I really want to put in. So I started the Liu Bei picture and then just stopped on the face. I decided I was just going to simplify things and do a kind of manga-esque picture of Ken from Street Fighter, and then just kind of color that up, get rid of the lines, see how I felt about that. Just to work through the painterly process of underpainting and then adding layers on top, and just using opacity to make it all blend. So I did my flats, and yeah, I've lowered the opacity of the line work, so I can, when I put the detail in, it doesn't confuse the eye, because that can happen. This is why comic book artists tend to do their pencil work in blue, or change it to blue. So the eyes I put on a separate layer, blocked them in. The hair as well, I used a chalk brush to do the shading. I've never really looked at Anya and added some kind of basic muscle stuff that I would kind of blur out, and here I've blurred it out. I went in and kind of used a much darker skin tone to really bring out the cheekbones and the nose, but that might be defeatist if I'm trying to make everything blend together like it's a painting. So I'm kind of thinking, what is it precisely I'm trying to go for here? It's a difficult one, because if you just remove the line work, you can already tell that this is a picture of Ken Masters. Is there even any need for me to bother with detail at all? I can't remember who that guy is who does like 10 facts on whatever. I can see this being the picture for his Street Fighter video. So to celebrate Metal Gear Survive coming out, I did a crappy picture of Liquid Snake with no reference, because yeah, Metal Gear Survive doesn't even deserve this much. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. I just had an idea, I did it, messed about, got bored of it, and then moved on. I was trying to make it Shinkawa-esque, but I didn't bother looking at what Shinkawa did, so that was all memory. The turtles are in that new DC beat 'em up, I forget what it's called. Any excuse to draw a picture of the turtles, right? So I've got them going nuts over some pizza, Mikey in the background. Probably the only landscape picture I've done in a very long time. And then, I don't know, for some reason I was thinking Akuma. I love drawing Akuma, because ugly people are way more interesting to draw than Akuma, and I didn't realize quite how ugly he's being rendered these days with no eyebrows and his dog nose. It's hilarious. So I just wanted to make a mess with some chalk brush, and then I just came in with G pen and some color. I'm not gonna say I cleaned it up, but it's not quite so full of random lines. But yeah, I finished. No, not really. But am I coming back to it? No. So it was kind of like, let's just do a few in a row. Looking at how Akuma is drawn these days, I didn't realize he typically doesn't have eyebrows. So I was kind of just trying to change how I draw him from how I think of him to how he actually looks. I've always given him a big, like, flat nose and stuff. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to color this with the chalk brush with lines, and then use the lines to kind of delineate grain. It's a mess, but I mean, I think honestly, if it was a smaller thing, it wouldn't confuse the eye as much. I think there might be something to this. And then I just thought, you know what, I'm mostly putting his massive Buddha necklace in the wrong place. Let's do one where he's not wearing it. And I have a typical tendency to draw faces from the front or three quarters, so maybe let's shift the angle a little bit more. And this is the final picture I did. I remember seeing an old Street Fighter movie, animated, where like Akuma wasn't in it, and I swear to God he was an extra, like begging on the street in India in one of the scenes, and I don't I don't know if that actually happened. I think it probably did, but that's just how I kind of remember it. Memories are funny like that. So I don't even. It was the end of the day. I can't even remember why. I see Jordan Peterson everywhere, and I thought, let's just do like a 30-second sketch. So I did. Just because I was sitting there finally doing work. Most of this was done on a Friday night. So I just did something. Now I wish I was into Paladins because apparently their Reddit's just full of crappy fan arts because they're kind of protesting loot boxes being included recently in a new update. And it would have been nice to do some art intentionally bad because bad art is some of the best art. Speaking of steamed hams, this week is some YouTube poop classic stuff. An awful lot of effort's gone into this one. That's like the Zelda CD style, and the next one, where the original dialogue from The Simpsons has been remade painstakingly by just editing syllables from these sources, and a Gmod style steamed hams with all the animation foibles you expect when someone does one of these things. I don't know when they made Team Fortress 2 they had any inkling that it would become a meme factory, right? So what am I going to do next week? Well, let's see where we are next week, and we'll talk about it retroactively, I think. Right, so that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 74, and I'll see you next time.